afternoon. It's the last full day of drama in Doha, with the last 5 events to come in the individual apparatus finals. Now, since 2003, Great Britain's gymnasts have never failed to win a medal at these World Gymnastics Championships. And that's very much due to the efforts of people like this. Beth Tweddle, Christian Thomas, welcome to you both. In fact, if you were to put your combined hardware from Olympics, World, European and Commonwealth Games on the table, it would probably collapse. But we're glad to have you with us today. And you're happy to watch others do the work at the moment and continue the success. And that's exactly what Max Whitlock did yesterday. Now, OK, his 7th World Championship medal was not the colour he'd been looking for on pommel horse. He had been going for a 3rd gold in a row. But after being given exactly the same score as China's Zhao Ruoteng, to the thousandth of a point, Max lost out to Zhao's superior execution score and he had to settle for silver. But Britain's Rio Olympic champion is still very much in the shake-up then as we head towards Tokyo 2020. Now, there is one more British gymnast to follow today, and he's a 23-year-old Brummie, Dom Cunningham. Now, what a breakthrough year it's been for him. Medals at the Commonwealths and the Europeans. Now he's in a world final in the vault. And that really is a poke in the eye to everyone who once questioned and made fun of his passion for this sport.
Dominic Cunningham from the City of Birmingham Gymnastics Club.
To have that title against my name for the rest of my life now, European champion, there's not many people who can say that, and I'm one of them.
Super control, these big tumbles.
I knew I could do it.
Big triple twist to finish, what a performance!
Dominic Cunningham rising to the challenge.
When my score went high, I was just like, I think I dropped to the floor. I don't even remember so much what I did, I just dropped to the floor and was just like, goosebumps. Hearing the national anthem, I was just like, jeez! It was a madness. It was just, it's what I live for, and I want more moments like that. At the end of last year, pretty much ready to retire, or I was like, this is so hard to keep going. I was always battling to making the teams, but I always just missed out on the team. I was always the 7th person. I was like, this is too hard to keep doing that. Luckily, I turned around and I was like, right, let's do it. I had 5 weeks off and I came back with the most amount of fire inside me, and I was like, yeah, let's go. I set out my targets: Commonwealth Games, European Championships and World Championships. With my training now, where there is happiness, there is success, and that's what I've been trying. Growing up, it was tough, and it's so easy to break a person. There has been times where I'm not scared of someone, but I was always scared of what they'd say in front of other people, and it's so easy for people to latch on. Oh, that's the girl gymnast. You don't want to get grouped up onto, and that's where it started to go. I remember there was one time my mum took me to school and I just hid in the footwell of the car with a blanket over me because I didn't want to go. I'm only about 9, 10 years old at this time, and I'm like not wanting to go to school because of what people were calling me names, because of what sport I did. But then the whole thing changes, because when I'm walking around on my hands and everyone's like, wow, that's so cool. For a tip for anyone who might still go through those gymnastics comments, just remember who you're doing it for. When they've got not the best job, you can do handstand backflips for your country. So yeah, just don't listen to people, listen to yourself. I'm out there to bring back medals. It's my first World Championships. I'm gonna be in the deep end, but I'm gonna show through that this little Dominic Cunningham, Great British gymnast, I'm coming through with fire. Europe was a big competition, but the world, we're talking the next level now. So I'm looking forward to it. Bring it on, I'm on it.
Well, he is a man on a mission. Dominic Cunningham prowling at the end of this 25-metre runway for his first vault in the final here at his very first World Championships. He is a man who has lots to achieve, Craig Heap. He's got a great deal of confidence, and he qualified 5th for this vault final. Got to hold it together now and show everybody what he can do.
Yep, big talent. European champion on floor, unlucky not to make the vault final as well. But really must hold his nerve now in this big field. Starts well, wraps in. The double twist on the straight front, that's what Biles does or tries to do in her competition. It's such a difficult vault. He opts for the round off half turn onto the vault, into the handspring straight front with a double twist. 5.4 on difficulty, so that's a maximum he can score of 15.4.
Well, just to explain how the vaults competition works, each gymnast does 2 vaults. So he'll have a second to perform. The score on difficulty, well, that's the open-ended score, but each vault has a specific value. You can see it on the scoreboard there behind in the distance. 5.4 for this particular Yurchenko vault. And then the execution score is the mark given out of 10 by the judges for how well that vault is performed. And once both vaults have been performed, then the average of those 2 scores is taken. 14.533. That's a good start for Dominic. 9.133 on execution. So he's improved. He's done that vault then, Craig, marginally better than he managed in qualifying.
Yeah, and this is what the vault's all about, really. It's about being consistent on both vaults. No point having a brilliant big vault and then the second one sitting back down, but great start. This is a more difficult vault, so they have to do a different entry and exit from the table, but with more difficulty comes greater risk.
Here he goes then.
So we're doing the triple twist in Yurchenko. Wraps in, the triple twist, 1 pace on landing. That is a very, very good opening for Dominic Cunningham.
Well, opportune time for Christian Thomas to join us in the commentary box here. World bronze for Christian on this piece of apparatus in 2013, and you know Dominic very well, of course, don't you?
I do, and to be honest, it's his first World Championships. He's stepped up to the mark straight away, making a vault final. First up, which is so difficult as well. You kind of set the tone of the final, and he's delivered 2 near-perfect vaults there. Here's the Yurchenko one, wraps into the triple twist. Lots of height, gets all the way around the triple twist, so no or minimal deductions on that, and then just a small step back as well.
Really interesting, the order of the competition. They announced that the gymnasts come out and don't have a warm-up. I think going up first is a real advantage in this competition. If you think you're 8th and you've no warm-up time, do you think the draw really suit Dominic?
Potentially. I think that's definitely one way that you can look at it. You know, you get up, you get it out the way. You're not sitting there watching all the other vaults coming up before you. So when you're sitting there, those nerves they start to add up a little bit.
Well, 14.666 for his overall score. I think he's pretty pleased with that. Again, it's better than he managed in qualifying. So as the first gymnast out, he has now set the marker. He's put in 2 good, clean vaults, and he can't ask for more than that. So, from Dom Cunningham, we move on to Shek Wei Hung, the 27-year-old from Hong Kong, the reigning Asian Games champion on vault. So his first vault has a difficulty value of 5.6. Christian, over to you.
Shek Wei Hung now been on the international scene for quite a few years, known as a bit of a vault specialist. There's the Dragulescu vault, so the handspring with the double front and the half turn. Quite a low landing, but execution-wise, very clean.
Yeah, he said he's been around for a while. 8 world championships in total. The best he's managed on the vault so far was a 6th place finish in 2014.
Well, he's not the oldest in this vault final, but you can see he really does have to power down that runway. Gymnasts have 25 metres to run. The vaulting platform or table is set at 1.35 m. You can see the double front half turn there. As Christian pointed out, shoulders and chest down a little bit there, which the judges will pick up there. The half turn, and had to take that slight adjustment to the side. But big vault, should score relatively well.
Vault number 2 coming up.
You can see the mental rehearsal there just before his next vault. I believe it is the triple twist. You could sort of see him imitating what position he wants to put his hands onto the vault, getting that line correct. So obviously if the hand placement isn't correct, then that means that he's going to be outside the boundaries. So really important last minute preparation there.
Well, he scored well for vault number 1. Can he get a good clean landing? His all-important second vault.
Powers down the vault run. There's the triple twist. A couple of steps back on the landing. Did have lots of height and lots of rotation, which unfortunately meant a couple of steps back. But overall, not too bad. I think Dom should be safe though, looking at the 2 vaults and averaging them between them.
Just remind us exactly what the judges are looking at when they are assessing the execution and how well a vault's performed.
So they're looking at the flight onto the vault. So what are the legs doing? What are the arms doing? So if we look here onto the replay, do the legs split? There's a little split there, so the judge will take. They're looking at the height of the vault, the rotation, obviously the landings as well, and then also what it looks like in the air. So are the legs jammed together? Are the toes pointed? So there's lots and lots of areas that the judges can take deductions. And I guess it's this one in the air though, actually very, very clean. I have to say, it's just an unfortunate landing that he had to take those few steps back to adjust.
I'm going to say on the landing there, it looked like he came into the ground twisting slightly with his hips back. It forced him to swivel a bit backwards and take that large step. It's always a difficult vault from the Sukahara, the half on, into the triple twist. We see lots of gymnasts doing it from the Sukahara like Dominic did. But like you said, I think that should just be enough to keep Dominic in that top spot. This young man qualified down in 8th position, but he's the Asian Games champion.
Yes, 14.366. He does slot in just behind Dom Cunningham at the top of the leaderboard. To 8 gymnasts in all, though, to come. So we've got another 6, including this man you see there at the end of the runway, Nikita Nagorny, 21 years of age, part of a really up-and-coming Russian team. They took silver in the team events, and in particular Nagorny, bronze in the all-around. So on vault, just missed out on an Olympic medal. Came 5th in Rio, but is a former European champion on this apparatus, and a first vault with a value of 5.6 to start with.
And that is again the Dragulescu. We know he's been so consistent on this vault over these championships. He's been competing multiple days, so I'm sure the legs are feeling a tad tired by now, but again he just powers down the vault run, propels himself into the air, and just as clean as he has been doing. Really, really difficult vault to be competing on such a regular basis.
Well, he's such a powerful all-round gymnast, but you can see the difference between the first double front half turn we've seen and that one there of Nagorny. He really does accelerate the heels from the springboard drives. We call it a double front somersault, but it's actually 2.5. He's got plenty of time to spot the floor, initiate the half turn. There you can see, look at the floor. Super vaulting, qualified in 4th on this piece of apparatus, and certainly wanting to go one better.
He is challenging for a medal, isn't he? This is his 5th individual final at the Worlds. We saw him on the floor final yesterday, where he came 5th on the rings. Didn't have a great time in pommels, he came off. But yeah, having gone through the all-around as well, 14.8. He's really willing those legs to give him all the strength and power that he can for this second vault. There's Dom leading the way so far. So another 5.6 for Nagorny.
Always a bit nerve-wracking being that first gymnast. You know you've put in 2 good vaults, but you've got to wait and sit and watch all the other gymnasts go out there. Okay, now we're ready for his second vault. Again, tacks the vault. Just short on the land. You could see as he came into the mats, he was still twisting. It was the triple twist, so an extremely difficult vault. But to me, just looked a little bit low on the height. Didn't quite get the vertical lift that I think he needed. And hence the reason that he was still twisting into the ground a little bit. But he seems to be walking away from it fine, so hopefully no damage done.
What did you make of that one, Craig?
Well, I have to agree with Christian there, actually. He didn't just have the same block as he had going forwards for the handspring, but gymnast must do a different entry. The half on, wraps in to the triple twist. His knees buckled. You can see the heavy strap in there on his ankles. And gymnast must really finish the twist and stand up. You can see it was probably about 7/8 the way around. And so the judges will pick up on that. Good in the air, good form. And this is a big vault, the triple twist, but he just loses tension a little bit. Did very well actually to stop his knees touching the mat.
Yeah, the first thing to say, of course, is that if the feet aren't the first thing that touches the mat, it is a no vault. And you do see in qualifying gymnasts who land flush on their backside first if things go wrong. 14.65. Cunningham still leads the way. Well, Nagorny coming into this challenging for a medal, so this is a first good sign for Dom Cunningham. He holds on to top spot, looking like a cool customer, but there are some very big vaulters to come, and this man is the reigning Olympic champion. He was the top qualifier. Look at that start value you saw there. A big number 6 on the board, Christian.
Absolutely. So he's been a vault specialist for a number of years now. Well known for this, the Dragulescu, but in the piked position. So an extremely difficult vault. So really has to attack the runway. There's the lift. And he makes it round at the slight bend legs. If we're being super critical, I know at this sort of level seems a little harsh to be that critical, but it's exactly what the judges are looking at. You can see that he had to separate the legs slightly as well, just to increase the rotation.
Well, certainly it's more difficult, the pike position, but as you say there, Christian, in the second somersault, he sort of pulls his legs apart to increase the rotation a little bit, to initiate that half turn there. A little bit scrappy into the second part of the vault, however, it is a huge 6 difficulty, so he can afford to take the deduction and that little step to the side. At 33 years of age.
I was about to say, he's the oldest man in this competition. Perhaps not looking quite as fresh-faced as some of the others in the lineup here today. But yeah, reigning Olympic champion, 2-time world champion as well, 2014 and 2015. He held the title. Worth pointing out that the reigning world champion is in this competition as well, Kenzo Shirai of Japan. He'll be the penultimate gymnast to go. So these are really the big guns challenging. 14.933 for that first. So execution, not quite hitting the 9s, but he gets that big boost by the extra difficulty on the vault.
Absolutely, and he's got a cushion on his second vault as well on the difficulty. He's doing 2 somersaults with the full turn, so the full in back out. Again, an extremely difficult vault. There's not too many gymnasts in the world that actually have competed or can compete this vault. So still very rare, even though he has been competing himself for quite a number of years now. There's the 2 somersaults, the full turn, and wow, absolutely incredible vault there. Easily spotted the floor, only a small step on the landing, and that's definitely going into top spot.
That is so impressive, Craig Heap, isn't it?
It certainly is, and you can see just the amount of the attack up to the springboard and the power that it generates. As you can see there, all the other gymnasts tower above him, so he's a very small gymnast, but just look at the acceleration here. Big concentration, the half on, a double back with a full turn. Yes, he takes a few adjustments on the landing, but this is such a massive vault, straight down the middle. Yeah, he had a 15.033 in qualification for that vault, and this is what stands him out. He's the only gymnast with 2 6 vaults, so it really is head and shoulders above the rest on this piece of apparatus, Christian.
Well, yeah, you can see there he actually finished his first somersault with a full twist. He's still way above the vaulting table. And when we've seen it then, he attacks the front of the vault, which then propels him up vertically. And he's finding that balance between getting the height but also getting the rotation.
And that is good enough for top spot. 14.933, the average score, and well, tremendous vaulting. He's knocked Dom Cunningham out the way for the moment. Now, Cunningham then sitting in the silver medal position, and some really big vaulters to come. But it is then the reigning Olympic champion, top of the tree, as we now have a look at Arta Davtyan. He's another, and he's just about into his 30s, 30 years old, in his first vault final, despite this being his 4th World Championships, but has some form on this apparatus at the European level, certainly. That's a look of concentration and focus.
Leviton already competed in the all-round, which he did very, very well. There's the double front half turn, so the Dragalescu slightly low on the landing. Could see having to take that hop forward. But overall, not too bad a vault, I have to say.
It's amazing how popular that vault's become over the years, because you having performed a double front before, and as a gymnast, probably the double front is a more difficult vault to land, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, potentially, absolutely, because you have got that sort of blind landing. But it seems that the Dragalescu vault is now the norm. That is the standard that is set, and contribute to why I retired when I did.
Well, you can see there, he blocks in 1, 2, and there's the half turn. So what we mean by is, if you do the double front, it's a blind landing. You have to kick out and land on your feet, where this vault's really popular because as they do the second somersault, they can do a half turn, spot the floor, and hopefully execute a reasonable landing. Just lost a little bit of tension in his knees there and buckled a bit. And this is where you need the height, is really important.
Taking a well-earned breather between vaults here. 14.433 for his first. So he actually performed that vault slightly better in qualification. You come into a final always wanting to at least do as well as you've done to get there and hope to even up your game. So got a little bit of ground to make up even on his own performance here with the second vault. But he did qualify in 3rd spot for this final. Another 5.6.
So I believe his second vault, he does opt to twist as opposed to doing the somersaults. So a very competent vaulter being able to do vault 2 vaults, 1 twist, 1 somersault. And there's a triple twist. And you could see as he came out for that landing, and his shoulders were back over the back of his heels, which then meant his rotation was taking him away from the vaulting table and having to turn, take those extra steps. Very unfortunate.
Well, we've seen quite a few triple twists in this, and I think probably he watched the others that landed a little bit short, and he was probably thinking, I'm going to have to give it plenty of power, and I think he just overcooked it a little bit, and that's always the problem with this piece of apparatus. I mean, it really does power down that runway. You can see their feet together on the way on from the springboard. There's not many gymnasts that do the half on and can keep the feet together. And as you can see there, he was still twisting as he came round. There you go, wraps in. Not bad for the alignment, but hips back. And then those steps. And you can see he's very disappointed with the second vault.
You mentioned the versatility of being able to do somersaults and twists. It tends to be that a vaulter is sort of very definitely stronger at one than the other.
Absolutely. I always prefer the somersaults. It's one less thing to think about. Just get a good block and you wrap in for some sort. Dom is probably more of a twister. However, he is also very competent doing somersaults as well. Same with Kenzo. Although he can sort of twist like a topspin, he can also produce somersaults. So it's just, I guess, working to your specialist area.
Well, into that low score then, 13.433 and the 3/10 penalty for that second vault. So overall, unlikely to be challenging. And so Dav Tian 5th, but look at that, Dominic Cunningham with 3 gymnasts to go in the silver medal position. That big score set by the reigning Olympic champion, Reisei Guang. Can Dom Cunningham hang on for what would be Great Britain's only 2nd ever vault medal, behind the one that Christian Thomas, the man sitting next to me, won in 2013. For now though, Cal Souza of Brazil going through his mental preparations. So also a man in his first World Vault final, and a 5.6 vault for Christian Thomas to describe.
So here he goes into the triple twist, and very easily around actually. I think over the past I remember competing with the 2.5 twists, especially for Rio Olympics, but he's obviously upgraded into the triple twist now, so it's something he's been working quite hard on in the training gym, but looked a relatively easy vault, I have to say.
Well, he's certainly got plenty of power in those shoulders. There you go, a little bit of a leg split on the way on, but it does travel through the air really well. Wraps into that triple twist. I think he just about stays inside the lines. There you go, a little leg split. Easy to one side. Whoa. But yeah, really good vault. This is the best of his 2 vaults from qualification, even though both on 5.6. Plenty of time in the air and just that big pace on the landing.
So 14.633 for that first vault. Can he build on that now with the second? Will have to be given the go by the judges. So it's another 5.6 for Sousa.
Always slightly difficult to try and compose yourself once you've received a good score from the first vault. Sometimes you get slightly excited, slightly ahead of yourself sometimes, so you kind of just have to bring yourself in a little bit more, compose yourself. Good speed down the runway. There's the Dragulescu, but you could see didn't quite get the lift off the top of the vault. He looked like he got a block, but I don't know whether maybe his arms bent slightly too much as it the somersault seemed to drop down to earth pretty fast.
And hands down on the mat.
Absolutely, the hands down, that's the obvious deduction with the half turn. It just didn't quite have the same lift as some of the other Dragulescus that we've seen so far.
A very powerful vault of their blocks. You can see he didn't really have the height of the Dragulescus that we've seen so far. I don't know whether he didn't just get his hands in quick enough to the vault, but maybe went into that tuck position, very cowboyed as well. So that'll be a big penalty.
Well, Dom Cunningham will be watching these vaults, knowing that he was first and everyone else will be looking to try and knock him down the order. And you see gymnasts make mistakes. I think, well, it's going to help Dom's cause.
It certainly is. With 2 to go, we just need maybe one of those remaining gymnasts to make a bit of a mistake, and could be good news for Dom.
So Sousa is down in 6th place with 2 more gymnasts to come, 13.883 overall. And Cunningham then still in the silver medal position, but Kenzo Shirai, who's next to go, is the reigning world champion. Olympic bronze medalist at Rio as well, and he is he's a real twister, isn't he? We've seen him on the floor with his quadruple twist, but here he has already seen 1 world title be taken away from him in these championships, because he was the 3-time defending floor champion, and he lost that gold medal to, in fact, the man who's last to go on vault, Arta Dalaloyan. So Shirai will be absolutely eager to try and hang on to this particular world title, Christian.
Absolutely, and he's going to start with the triple twist. There's the block. Slight step on landing, almost sticks it. His shoulders were slightly low, hence the step forward, but a great opening vault for Kenzo.
Well, a bit of a fighting landing, Craig, but he held it.
Well, certainly, and I think one of the problems is if you're going to win, we've seen this before, look, he blocks, wraps in, triple twist, he went to nail that, and because his chest was down a little bit, it won't be too costly. There we can see, triple twist in the middle. Actually, that is quite deep a landing in the chest, so the judges will pick up heavily on that. And actually, if you compare it to Dominic's, maybe Dominic's was the better of the 2, and maybe the pressure's on. He still has to perform a second vault, and I know in qualification he did an easy second vault to get in, so he'll be raising the difficulty.
Yeah, of course, we should point out that if scores are tied at all, then it is the E value that judges will look at. So you don't always have to do the most difficult routine, in this case most difficult vaults, but for that one, 14.75. That's a very good score for that first vault at 5.6 difficulty. So interesting to see now whether he does up that difficulty, but also whether he'll go for a really high execution score. Staring down that vault runway, what is going through his mind? It's another 5.2, so it is what he did in qualifying. He'll be looking to do this one extremely cleanly, Christian.
Yes, I think to make sure he stays amongst the men, he's got to pretty much nail it. And he does exactly just that. I mean, to be honest, I don't even know how he nailed that, because it didn't really look like it got the lift off the vault, but the way that he can spin and stick those vaults is absolutely incredible.
Well, that big smile suggests that he feels he's done enough perhaps to get on that podium. So we'll find out very shortly. Congratulations all around from everybody down there on the floor. There's always such great camaraderie between gymnasts, no matter what the country. But just to remind you, Dom Cunningham sitting in the silver medal position at the moment. We await the score of Kenzo Shirai and then one more gymnast to come.
Well, you can see on the replay there, opted for the 2.5 twist. It did look like he was a little bit early turning on the top, which makes them go to one side of the mat. There you can see he wraps in, no problem in the air, so especially aware, but just look, he travels to the line there. So that's a 0.1. They decide he went over, but it was very clean. He stuck the landing. I think he might just be good enough to go into second place.
And he does. 14.675 overall. So Dom Cunningham is knocked down into the bronze medal position with just one more gymnast to go. So whether Cunningham is able to bag a world medal here will depend on how Artur Dalaloyan does for Russia, who you have to say, Craig, is having the, well, it's the World Championships of his life at the moment, isn't it? He's just excelled for his team for Russia, all around gold, floor gold. He's already a double world champion. And what's he got in the vault locker to challenge for a medal now?
Well, he has got 2 really big vaults, 5-6 on difficulty. I don't think he's going to be good enough to challenge for first unless he absolutely sticks them, but these are 2 really big vaults. So, yes, I think we're all sitting on the edge of our seats for Dominic Cunningham. Can he hang on to that bronze medal?
Dalaloyan is the reigning 2-time European vault champion. He's the last man to go here. He's got 2 vaults to try and get on the podium.
Well, not as powerful an approach as we've seen, but no problem there. Opts first of all for the Yurchenko. That's the round off onto the springboard, backflip onto the vaulting platform, and 3 twists. I think much of a muchness what we've seen from triple twists. He was obviously going to stick it and obviously shoulders down a little bit, but technically very good. It'd be difficult for the judges to take deductions from that.
Well, we saw him at the Worlds in 2017. He finished last in the vault final there. He's wrapping himself in. Just that one small hop on landing.
Yeah, and the judges are looking for block from the top. He had good flight. A little bit, you could say probably 7/8 round. A little bit of a little twist as he stands up. But this is good. I mean, we've seen a real shift in the Russian team over the past 18 months, 2 years, from where they've come from really behind to really excel at these championships, and certainly, you know, staking a fork in the ground really for 2020.
14.866. That is a big score for first vault. 9.266 on execution. This is the man at the top of the leaderboard there. Kenzo Shirai in the silver medal position at the moment. Cunningham occupying bronze. We're going to see a lot of Dalaloyan this afternoon because he's also got parallel bars and high bar final to come as well. An outstanding gymnast after some rocky episodes in his career. He was kicked off the Russian team when he was younger for lack of discipline. He was left out of Rio, which has really given him the impetus to come back to these worlds as he has, perform quite brilliantly. Final vault of this competition.
Well, it's a big vault. Hold your breath. Wraps in, handspring, double front, pike front somersault. Just that step on landing. Well, unfortunately, I think that will be good enough to beat Dominic Cunningham. It will get a medal, but what colour? That was a cracking vault. Might just push for silver.
Brilliant vaulting. I saw the reaction of Nikita Nagorny, his Russian teammate. Delight on his face, power down that runway.
He has plenty of time there. We often see gymnasts do this in the tuck position. I was talking earlier to Christian about this is a blind landing, because what we mean is you've got to open out going forward at the right time. When Christian won his medal, he did this in the tuck position, so you really need to generate a lot of heel drive from the springboard to get into that pike position, open out in plenty of time. 2 super vaults. I think he's really riding the wave of this competition and championships.
Nagorny's reaction, watching from the sidelines. He qualified in second place. Imagine it's going to be a medal. Just what colour? Dom Cunningham, just to put his achievement in context even, because say the only medal that Great Britain have had on vault was Christian's bronze, and Dalaloyan takes the silver with 14.883 overall. It means that that man there is the world champion, the new world champion. And Dominic Cunningham just squeezed out of the medals, but he finishes 4th in the vault final in his very first World Championships, which, Craig, you have to say is just another huge result for Great Britain.
It certainly is, and a huge boost for Dominic Cunningham as well. European floor champion, Commonwealth bronze champion. He had some of the lower start values in this, so he's got the execution. If he could just get his start values up, and that will probably take a couple of years, he will be a real contender. So well done, Dominic Cunningham.
Kenzo Shirai has lost his world title. It's gone to the Olympic champion, who's now also the world champion, Rise Guang. And Arthur Dalaloyan, another medal to add to his fantastic worlds with the silver. Dominic Cunningham, though, 4th place for him, just missing out on the medal. But Britain's second best result in a world vault final for Dom Cunningham.
Oh, congratulations to Dom Cunningham, but so agonising for him because he's 0.09 off a mark off the medals, and it was Shirai who just pipped him there. But let's have a quick look back from Dom's perspective. Christian, you remain the only British gymnast to ever claim a vault medal. That was 5 years ago, and he was so close here to joining you.
He was, and to be honest, I think we have to remember it's still only his first World Championships, which that is a big step just to even make the vault final. You know, you looked at those vaults, those all so clean. And Dom can be really proud of himself here. It's a platform for him to work off. This first vault, I think he's kind of got down to a T now. He seems to be able to just nail that vault 9 times out of 10, and potentially there's also scope for an extra half turn, creating more difficulty. So there's half on, good block, legs together, spots the landing, and hopefully over the coming sort of months we can sort of work in the gym on that and doing the extra half turn.
I think what was really impressive, both vaults at the execution score were both over 9. Yep. And obviously the adrenaline was flowing. He's first out there, but he seemed to make that work for him, Beth.
He did, and obviously we've spoken so much about the execution here. I mean, his legs are locked together throughout, and obviously that is his second vault, so you don't necessarily compete it as many times. If you're just doing an all-around competition, he'll use that first vault. So over time, he'll increase his consistency on that one, and we've seen him so many times in training nail both of those landings. So he's definitely got huge potential on this piece in the future.
Oh, congratulations to Dom. Next time, perhaps.
Yeah.
But this is the